Hello, welcome to another cube draft. I just asked an orc how long cube will be live. Apparently it will be live until October the 1st. So that's always great. Now let's get back to the draft here. So we're definitely gonna go for the Wormcall engine. It keeps my options open. It's a really solid card. There are two decent blue cards, but not like the nuts to go in there. This card is pretty strong. We played against it recently and we actually underestimated it the first time because it also creates a token during your opponent's upkeep, so that makes it really good. But I don't think I can pass up a Wormcall engine. Tinker is actually in the format, so that makes it really good. We wouldn't mind seeing Weathered Wayfarer Wheel, Ravagers of War will be fine, this 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 will be fine. Like plenty of cards that can wheel here. Just keep a mental note of like cards like Una's Prowler being in the format or being in the rotation already. Interesting pack. So there's Terrastodon, which is a really good reanimation card. If we can get something like Show and Tell, that's also pretty good. We can cut blue from our left and get the fairy, which gives our creatures flesh, which is okay. But there's not like really strong cards in here outside of Sulfuric Vortex, I think. Vortex is a really broken card. The problem is that it also applies a lot of pressure on yourself. But I think it's actually the strongest card out of this pack though. We might not go red, we'll see. But I can't pass it up. There's Liliana of the Veil. There's also Talia. There's Tara Mauler if you want to continue the red. But I think Liliana is strong enough to pick up here. Although I'm not so sure about that. It's really good against control, but it's not that great against aggro all the time. It's just basically single removal then. But it's more all around. It does commit us to black a little bit. Like probably more than Sulfuric Vortex commits us to red though. But I mean, we can then have some kind of reanimation team depending on which cards come. And I think Liliana is obviously, you know, a more all-around card. And then we get a Shackles first, fourth pick. No way I'm passing this card. This card is bonkers. I have first picked this card easily. There's Far Away that could wheel, although very unlikely. But there's no way, like literally no way that I pass up a Shackles. So we probably don't play the Sulfuric Vortex here and go blue-black, which can still be Reanimator. It can be somewhat aggro depending on the blue cards we get, or depending on the black cards we get, I guess. We can go 3-color Reanimation with white maybe, or sometimes red. But I don't think, seeing that I play Shackles, that I'll ever play Sulfuric Vortex, especially not seeing that it subs the lifelink from my own Wormcall engine. But that was a weird thing to have Falcon Shackles fourth pick. I think Vendilion Click is a stronger one. First of all, it's a creature, it's also a wizard, right? So if this wheels, this actually has some more value, but it's a pretty good creature to have. Remand is also pretty nice, but I think having a 3/1 flyer is a bit better, and it still keeps the option open of somewhat going reanimation, because you know it's a control card. There's a third card we pick up in our 3 slot, so we have to be wary of not picking too many 3 cards. But I think blue doesn't have that much 3 drops. So not much here outside of Brainstorm or Fix, and I think I like Arcane Sanctum a bit better because it's more likely that I'll be pairing this with white and that I will be pairing this with red. But we're already so heavy on these colors though, that maybe I don't want to splash. Although we played Falcon Shackles with like 4 islands and that was fine. So I think Arcane Sanctum is better than Brainstorm. I really don't think Brainstorm is good in this format. We get Vampire Nauta, Pure Dream Snuff Out, but I mean there's an Underground Sea which is the best fix. There's no way I'm passing this up. Yes, these cards are good. Future Temp is good in Reanimator. Vampire Nautic is a good creature. Snavat is a good removal, but I mean, it's more likely that I'll get one of these type of cards later on compared to an Underground Sea. There's no way I'm getting that so easily in the future. Fun and Shame is a really nice one, but there's an Undermine and a Signing Blood. Undermine is a bit better, I think. It's just a random counter spell though. But I mean, if you keep up a mana for click, then we can just undermine something. If you go somewhat creature based, we can then use it as a direct damage spell as well. Signing Blood is okay, but I think undermine is a bit better. So Ophiomancer Wield and Tidings Wield. I think Ophiomancer is a bit better, especially seeing that again, if you go creature based, it's a bit better. But so far we only have 3 creatures, so we need what? Rifting Cloudskate would be fine. Wake Thrasher, the one that when you draw a card it gets a counter. Forgot the name. There's Hand of Cruelty versus Tendrils. I think Hand of Cruelty is a bit better. It has protection for white, it has Bushido. It's a 2/2 for 2. Yes, it's heavy on the black again. But we already have 2 fix in the first pack, so we might as well, you know, run and get more fixes later on anyway. And black is usually heavy on the black, and blue is usually heavy on the blue. So you're gonna need somewhat of a fix, or you know, you need to be willing to run those cards. This does fit in my team of going somewhat creature heavy. And there's a Dissipate at wheels. Probably play that over Undermine. But not sure. We might just play both of them, but that's unlikely. Come on, good cards in pack 2. So Jace would be obviously my number 1. Jace, Opposition, Treachery, Tamiyo, Control Magic for that matter, Sour of Temptation, Dungeon Geist, Serendip Efreet, Rifting Cloudskate, Loot, the 1/1, Wake Thrasher, all of those. Again, most of them are 3-drops for some odd reason. That's pretty bizarre if I think about it. Like Wake Thrasher is a 3-drop. The one that gets 1/1 counters is a 3-drop. So many 3-drops apparently. So black will be the 1 and 2-drops then, I guess. Like black has 2/2 1-drops like Diagraph Call. But there's also the Shakashima student here, definitely taking that. Being able to ninjutsu something can have good effects. There's the Vote Mage Prodigy. There's Supreme Verdict, which I probably won't play. We do have a fix for it. Wow, Future Temp Wheels. I am playing this, by the way. I mean, it's not that bad. It's a 1/1 for 1, sure, that's not great, but as soon as you get Threshold later on, it's a 2/2, and you can give it flying if you need to. Although, doesn't sound that great, does it? So there's a Wake Thrasher that we wanted. There's also Glenelendra though. I think this is more likely to wheel than this, and this is a really good card. This is also a pretty solid card. But I think Glenelendra is a bit better. But if I pick this, one of these two will wheel. If I pick this, this is very unlikely to wheel. I don't think we want another 3-drop. So we want probably these. And then I think Glenelendra is still stronger, like countering Planeswalkers, countering AoE effects, countering anything broken your opponent wants to do. Glenelendra is just a bit better, and like we use it once, then Sakashima back to our hand or something. It's also a wizard, but that does that allows us to counter a creature, I guess. So that's fine. The land Creeping Tar Pit would be another card I wouldn't mind seeing. It's a good unblockable creature for pushing through some damage later on. And maybe counter spells aren't the way I want to go then, seeing that I am so creature based and permanent based. We're basically tap out control. Maybe once like 1 counter cryptic commands, just because it's that good. Because it can also bounce something, tap down your opponent's creatures. There's Bitter Blossom, there's Recurring Nightmare. There's Drifter, Reanimate, Dismiss. I don't think I can pass up Recurrent Nightmare here. The card is just too good. We already have the Putrid Imp, like we do have extra effects for it, like with Glenlendra, Sakashima, Wormcoil Engine. Sure I want Bitter Blossom, sure I want all of these, but Recurrent Nightmare is just too good to pass up here. Then there's Dismember versus Graveborn Muse, and Floodplain, but meh. I think Dismember is still better, it's a removal card. Graveborn Muse might even wheel, no way I can pick up Stoneforge Mystic here, because it's in a splash, so Dismember it is. That's basically one drop, but okay. But yeah, another Recurrent Nightmare in my deck, huh? So what is Recurrent Nightmare really good? Well, so Putrid Imp, discard Wormcoil, get it back, is pretty solid. We want Keiga as well, we want Kokusho as well now. We want Meloku, Wake Thrasher Wheeling would be fine. Which black cards are there? There's Shriekmaw, but I think Shriekmaw already passed, right? I'm not 100% sure of that. But I think Shriekmaw already passed. Shriekmaw is really good with Recurrent Nightmare. There's Entomb, there's Exhume, there's also Legacy's Allure. I think Legacy's Allure is a bit better. Like, yeah, these cards are reanimation, but I don't really want to go that team that heavily. And I think Legacy's Allure, just, a control magic card, is a bit better. It's actually maybe a bit better than control magic, or maybe a bit worse. Like, it depends on how you look at it. Like, your opponent sees it coming, because it takes time to build up, so you can't just top deck it and win the game with it, so in that case it's worse. But because your opponent sees it coming, he tends to play around it, which isn't that great against a control-ish deck. So Vidalcan Shackles with Recurrent Nightmare is also pretty good. I think we had that like 2 cubes ago where we just had this and wrecked the opponent because of it. But we're still looking for more creatures, of course. We get Makeshift Mannequin, we get Ponder, but there's a Creeping Tar Pit. I asked for this card, there's no way I'm picking Ponder over the card I asked for. And it's fixed, so yeah. Slam dunk. Creeping Tar Pit is pretty solid. Like, yes, it cost me 4 mana basically, because 3 and the attack of the land itself, to deal 3 damage, but I mean, it's unblockable. There's a reason why that's good. Because as soon as you get control, your land actually, starts smashing his face. It can push through for all lethal damage eventually. It can even work as a sacrifice for Recurrent Nightmare, though that seems very unlikely that I'll do that. So, which combos do we have? We have Fidelian Click with Recurrent Nightmare, seems fine. There's Sundering Titan now versus Bane of the Living. I don't think Molten Tail Massacre is the correct pick here. So it's either Bane of the Living, which I think actually hampers me a bit more, or Sundering Titan, which I think is a bit too expensive. I'm still gonna go with Sundering Titan. Not sure if I'll play it main deck yet. As I said, I think it's a bit too expensive. We get a Gul'Dras, which is really good. It's a good removal card. It's a creature, which you can use for Recurrent Nightmare if you draw it later on. It's a really solid card. Like, just leveling this the first turns and put so much pressure on your opponent's creatures. And this is a creature-based format. I mean, this card has won us games on its own, just by being able to pick up a creature every turn. And just imagine attacking into a 4/4 is hard enough as it is for most decks. But then if it's a 4/4 that keeps eating up your other cards. So there's a Bad River, but there's also a Metamorph. I don't think I can pass up a Metamorph to pick up a Bad River. I mean, this is a creature most of the time, and when it isn't, it just becomes the best artifact out there. Which probably is Vidalcan Shackles. Like, imagine having double Shackles, huh? So there's like a Demi Runes, which I don't think I want, but I don't think I want Tormented Hero either. Well, Tormented Hero has more odds of being played compared to Academy Runes. Like, Academy Runes brings back Wormcoil, Fraction Metamorph, Sundering Titan, and Vidalcan Shackles. But I mean, seems very unlikely that I'm gonna need to have that happen, right? So Dismiss is probably better than Dissipate, just because this also draws a card. I might just play a single counter spell, like Undermine or Dismiss, and not both, and then bring in some, like we already have Glenlander and Void Mage Prodigy as well as counters, so yeah, might as well. So Bitter Blossom didn't wheel, I think that was that pack, or this pack, but at least Graveworm used it. It's an okay card, it's a creature, nothing I want here, so let's hit the Cloud Goat Ranger. Or just, you know, pick a random card, I guess. Makeshift Mannequin Wheels. There's also Cave of Colliers, just in case I want to go white, but doubtful, so Makeshift Mannequin it is. Just, you know, deny a bit more black to the other guys. You never know, but I think as soon as they're black already, they're gonna be playing black anyway. So we need 3 more cards. Probably want some kind of Planeswalker, because we currently have none. And we can definitely like cut 1 or 2 counter spells to have more in there. So we're actually looking for about 5 really good cards, preferably creature cards. Carnifex is okay, but it's not good enough anymore. It got outmatched by the Vampire Lacerator, by many other cards. So, you know, we asked for Meloko, we get Meloko. There's also Sword of Iron Eyes. We are creature based, Sword of Iron Eyes is pretty decent against us, I think. But I don't think I can pass up a Meloko here. Although I'm not sure if it's better than Sword of Iron Eyes. Hard one, to be honest. Sword of Iron Eyes versus Meloko. Meloko is really good though. And speak of the sword, maybe Meloko even wheels. Talrand, obviously not the card I want. Negate, maybe, but I mean, there's a Watery Grave. I'm gonna take that. Pre-Maggot isn't that great. Natuka Shade is too expensive. So there's only Talrand that we're already creature based, and not that many sources or instant. So Watery Grave it is, giving us another really good card. There's Repeal, there's Gravecarver. We do have a zombie. We have 2 zombies, so it has some effect. Yeah, I think Gravecarver is the better card, although it can't actually block, it's still better than this. There's also Profane Command though. Probably Profane Command then. Okay, let's try it. So at this point we have 22 cards, but we're gonna cut like one of the counters anyway, probably Dissipate. There's Venser, which I guess is the better card here. It's a pretty good card in general, and then now it can bounce every turn due to Recurring Nightmare as well. It's actually a wizard, so it can counter stuff with Void Mage Prodigy later on. So it's a pretty solid card, I guess. This is a wizard, no, it's just a shapeshifter. Oh yeah, we're probably not gonna play Sundering Titan either. So we have 23 cards, but they're looking to replace about 2 of them. That's why I wanted Meloko, because then I can cut Sundering Titan, I guess. But I think my deck is solid enough as is. Wake Thrasher didn't wheel, we didn't see the Chasm, it was called Chasm something. Chasm Lurker? Was it the name? Interesting. So there's Obliterator, but there's also Night Veil Spectre and Impulse. So Obliterator is a really late game card, I think. There's also Pact of Negation, but I don't think I want that. I have plenty of counters already. Is Bloodghast better? Maybe Bloodghast is better, like it's a creature that keeps on coming back. Fairy Conclave probably is a pick here over Manowar. Manowar is pretty solid, but so is Fairy Conclave. Now, speak of Manowar, let's cut this already and cut this already. So that's 23 cards. Let's hope Meloko wheels. I'm just thinking what I would cut if I find another decent pick. And why are my opponents so slow? Like this guy is passing to me, so he has a tough pick or something, I don't know. I'm still connected to the internet, right? Yeah. Kiora wheels. Well, it doesn't really wheel, but it goes pretty deep. Which is odd, but again, this is way too late for me to jump into that. There's Dimage Charm, which is a decent sideboard card. I think it's better than these cards, although Time Warp is pretty solid. Like if you have the board advantage with this Time Warp, and probably win the game. I think it's better than Dimage Charm. It might even make the main deck, although it is unlikely. Lacerator probably won't play it, and Maloko Wheels, Slam Dunk. Didn't even look at the other cards. There's no way we're not gonna play Maloko here. So we have 24 cards. Need to cut one more. Probably the Undermine. Yeah, that's fine. Although I'm not so sure about Putrid Imp. Like Putrid Imp is a bit greedy. We might not need it. We probably won't need it, and then maybe then Lacerator is better because it's always a 2/2. Or just, you know, the Time Warp. Although I really don't think I want Time Warp per se. It's gonna cost me 5 to get an extra turn, which isn't gonna win me the game that often. And I think if I'm ahead that much, a counter spell is just as good. But I mean, these are 23 cards. We're not looking to add another card. Guess Hero of Oxid Rich is more annoying against me, but Negate is a solid sideboard card. So we have no opposition, sadly enough. If it is, yeah, it's still in the cube. So opposition would be pretty solid for me to have, which we obviously don't. Yeah, I'm looking at my graphs on of this year, and for some odd reason, June had insane amount of views compared to the other months. What happened then? Cube was live then, I guess, and I uploaded. So Cloudfin Raptor is probably better than Putrid Imp in my deck. Regional Sports is an okay card, but I think Cloudfin Raptor is a bit better, and then we get an Impulse as well. Do want to run Impulse. Like Cloudfin Raptor is good if you drop a turn 1, but it's bad late on. Gonna pick this, but not gonna play it, of course. And Kiora, wow. Last pick Kiora, so no one is blue-green. There's no way they pass up Kiora twice. So we still have card on match here. Because we have Impulse there. We have 15 creatures. And then we would run 8 non-creature cards if we do not cut a creature, which I think is correct. I think we want at least one counter in Dismiss, although we have Fencer and Void Mage Prodigy. Just having a random Dismiss is fine, I think. Although, nah, we're tap out. This is a 1-drop, this is a 3-drop. Deck looks okay. This is probably something like a 6 or a 7. Bloodghast probably isn't the best creature, but I mean it's okay. It keeps coming back, so it's good with Recurrent Nightmare. It can block though, so that's a bit of a downer. But I think Impulse is good enough to find something like Recurrent Nightmare or Liliana or Sword of Fire and Ice that we actually want to run that. Arcane Sanctum just fixes those two. Maybe we don't want to run that because it comes into play tapped all the time, and we're actually, you know, pretty early on here, so we don't want that to happen. But then turn 1 this, and turn 2 we're more likely to cast these, so I think we want as much fix as we can. Like we only have 2 1-drops, which would warrant us having to want this, and it seems likely that we're gonna have a single swamp or a single island in our hand anyway. And maybe this scares my opponent a little bit of white, I don't know. Maybe he thinks I'll have Sphinx's Revelation or something. So yeah, we have 4 more counters to bring in against some wacky deck. We have Time Warp to bring in if we need to. We don't have Master of Waves, which would also have been a really good card. Oh man, Now that I think about it, Master of Waves would have been huge. Sunrise Titan is a bit too expensive, I think. I think my mid game is really big, and my late game, thanks to Maloku and Recurrent Nightmare, Vitalka Shackles, is gonna be good enough as is. We have Fencer to control a little bit, we have Void Mage Prodigy to control a little bit. We have Dead Cloud maybe to bring in against some kind of weird deck that it can be good against. We can go somewhat more defensive against really aggro decks with more early drops as well. Cackler is a 1/1 drop then. So yeah, I think this deck looks fine. Let's just add land, see what it suggests. Is that correct? So 1 swamp less. This no, yeah, it seems about fine. Like Oliver Blue has a big cast. More Islands is good for Vitalka Shackles, which is probably also considered to be a blue card, of course. Bloodghast is a zombie? No, it's not. So Graveborn Muse only works on Graveborn Muse. And didn't we have another zombie somewhere? I thought we had. Apparently we don't. I thought we had another zombie. I thought we had another zombie for... Oh, Pewter Imp is another zombie. Okay, got it. Anyway, I'll see you guys for round 1.